Strap in and hold on to your seats because we're in for a long-winded tropical update on everything brand spanking new that we have for Tropical Depression number 9 that is likely on the edge of becoming our ninth named storm, Imelda. As of 5 o'clock this afternoon, National Hurricane Center has sustained winds of 35 miles an hour in the developing low-pressure center, and the pressure remains at about 1,005 millibars. The system itself is still moving at about 5 miles an hour, kind of crawling at this point in time towards the northwest, scraping through the western Bahamas. However much more west it travels will pay dividends in terms of how our weather here in East and Central Florida is influenced tomorrow and especially through Monday when we're anticipating the worst of the conditions could begin to take hold. Now, as of 5 o'clock, we've gotten a bit of a new forecast track as well. While it doesn't look to have changed very much, there has been a bit of a nudge to the west, a little bit closer to our coastline. We're going to be watching these little wiggles and wobbles left and right of the current forecast because that will also greatly impact exactly how much of the impacts we see along the east coast of Florida and then especially further inland. The further it stays offshore, the more us here in Central Florida really won't even be able to tell that there's a tropical system off our east coast. And then especially for our east coast counties, if it comes in a little bit closer or stays further offshore, that will also greatly determine whether or not the tropical storm warnings, or watches I should say, are in effect become those tropical storm warnings. As of tonight, looking at the satellite representation of this system, still very broad. It's still not turning very fast, but it is beginning to improve. You look at all that gratuitous thunderstorm action that we have firing over eastern and over northern Cuba, extending through the Bahamas, and I do think we're finally starting to see our bona fide tropical system beginning to take shape. And then to the right of where TD number 9 is, look at Major Hurricane Humberto, now a 160 mile an hour Category 5 hurricane. That one is going to stay far away from us and pretty much everybody else, thank goodness. However, it is going to greatly influence what happens with future Imelda as it traverses the east coast of Florida. Now, as of now, the National Weather Service has increased the overall extent of our tropical storm watches. We don't have any warnings out for the state of Florida just yet, but like I mentioned earlier, however left or right that track tries to deviate over the next 24 hours will influence when it is they decide to pull the trigger and issue, or I should say upgrade, these watches to warnings. Watches means exactly as the name implies, we're watching right now. The ingredients for tropical storm conditions are there, but we're not anticipating them just yet. It's kind of like when you sit down to prepare dinner. You lay all your ingredients out in front of you on the counter in front of you, but we haven't quite made the dinner yet, so we can't eat it just yet. The ingredients there could put your dinner together for your Saturday night, but it's not quite there yet. Once you combine everything and you chef something up in the kitchen to serve for dinner on Saturday night, that is when you realize dinner time. That's the difference between a watch and a warning. Right now, we're watching. The warning means, hey, we're warning you conditions are coming. We're not quite there yet, and there's still a bit of uncertainty as we go over the next 12 to 18 hours. So where we stand currently, these are your coastal impacts. Coastal impacts will be the greatest for us, especially in East Central Florida. Rip currents, without a shadow of a doubt, could be lethal. We're going to have a tropical storm, if not a strengthening Category 1 hurricane off our immediate east coast, and as a result, the wind flow will be running perpendicular to the coastline of Central Florida. Beach surf will be rough, and then near shore waters for any boats or small crafts that may be out there will also be very, very aggressive. So if you can avoid doing anything on the water as we go through Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, it would behoove you if you could avoid doing so. Now, taking you county by county for Tropical Depression number 9, soon to be Imelda, the worst weather remains the same, expected Sunday through Monday. For Flagler County, winds sustained between 10 to 20 miles an hour, gusting up to 30, if not above that, and rainfall could approach 1 to 2 inches on average. Could see some smaller pockets of heavier rainfall depending on what the structure of the system looks like as it moves up against our coastline. Same thing for Volusia County. Volusia, worst weather Sunday through your Monday, and then as well the winds 10 to 20 sustained, gusting anywhere between 25 and 35 miles an hour. And notice the rainfall totals kind of tick up just a little bit because we're a little bit further south than Flagler County, and the orientation of our beach running north-northwest to southeast. You're kind of getting a little bit closer to where the storm center could be, so the reach will feel or should reach out to you a little bit greater than Flagler and north of there. And then finally, Brevard County, the Space Coast area, this is where we could see our greatest impacts just because, again, the jutting out effect of the coastline of Brevard County kind of extending a bit further towards the east, closer to where that center of circulation could be. The worst weather remains the same in terms of timing. We could see tropical storm gusts depending on how much more the track wiggles and wobbles to the left or the right, and our rain chances will be the highest in Brevard County, all thanks to the geography of the state of Florida. Now, one thing I want to show you before we get ready to wrap up is take a look at the spaghetti plots versus the path here. This is the 5 o'clock advisory, so we have seen it nudged a little to the left to better favor where our spaghetti plots are currently located, but I want you to see that most of our plots are still to the left of where National Hurricane Center has the forecast track. And I also want to remind everybody out there that our higher resolution hurricane models suggest this could very well be a Category 1 hurricane as it runs parallel to southern and central Brevard County. So the hurricane models are a little bit on the higher end than what National Hurricane Center is forecasting. We'll have to watch that as well. Now, rainfall totals, we could be looking at on average anywhere between 1 to even 5 inches. Generally speaking, we should see 1 to 3 inches depending on how much of the dry air coming down with our cold front influences the outer bands of our future tropical system, Imelda, as it moves parallel to our coastline. But you can see some areas could really rack up the rainfall totals, leading to urban and roadway ponding. Some localized flash flooding is a potential, and we're going to watch the rainfall totals, especially as the track wiggles and wobbles over the next 24 hours. Winds, it goes without saying, this is our in-house model. You can see where that center of circulation really begins to get going as it exits the Bahamas, becoming a hurricane, and on average, wind gusts could be anywhere between 25 to 30 miles an hour here in central Florida. The further inland you go, of course, the frictional effects that the land of the Florida Peninsula plays on those incoming winds will diminish them some, but it's interesting to note that our in-house model does in fact show a fairly robust hurricane off the northeast coast of Florida. Looking at the Euro egg winds, this is the tropical wind swath here. You can see as we go through Sunday night into Monday morning, those tropical storm winds do begin to reach in, and then by Monday night into Tuesday morning, we could be seeing tropical depression level winds, if not full-fledged tropical storm force winds, warranting the issuance of that tropical storm warning for our east coast counties all the way through to sunrise even on Tuesday. A lot hinges on how fast this system moves as well, the intensity, where it tracks, and then some of our computer models suggest there could be even a slowing down effect as it gets up towards the Daytona Beach, Palm Coast, St. Augustine, Jacksonville area before either curving out to sea or maybe stalling out off the Georgia-South Carolina coastline. The GFS has been bumping to the left ever so slightly. I will rewind this and take you in for a bird's eye view. If I zoom us into east central Florida, notice that the latest I've been talking a lot tonight. The latest GFS does, in fact, bring those tropical storm level winds inland for Brevard, Volusia, Flagler County, even trying to reach its way into the easternmost peripheries of Seminole, Orange, and Osceola County. Again, a lot is still a bit uncertain. We're getting closer in time, but check back with us over the next 6, 12, 24, 36 hours as we get ready to batten down the hatches. We could see tropical storm warnings issued for the coastline, and right now we should be prepared and planning for tropical storm conditions just because we always want to be bracing for the worst but hoping for the best. Stick with your News 6 weather team for all the latest